Good morning,
Good morning, goeiemôre.
and welcome to everybody who's just joined us. I just want to get this, it's a bit blurry out there, but I just need to quickly do my age on this thing. We're trying to go live on TikTok as well this morning. So,
TikTok.
TikTok, same thing, man, TikTok. So, yeah, it's interesting how our technology has started to take over all over the world. So this morning I need to put on my glasses. This is old school technology, eh?
Yeah, it is.
Old school technology.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about this morning?
We thought maybe we should touch a few subjects this morning, not just one specific one. There are so many things that happened this week, and people that we spoke to about various things that's worrying them, and yeah.
I'm going to leave TikTok because that is for the younger
people,
generation.
yes.
I don't understand what they want from me now.
So. There are a few people that we spoke to this week that is very negative.
Yeah, and sadly, the negativity goes over further than just them being negative. It goes as far as they make their friends negative, they make the people at work negative, they make their family negative. At the end of the day, people are just negative. They just feel.
Yeah, it drags through. And the thing with that is, if you're that negative, your spouse is going to feel it. And it's really hard work for the person that's not the negative one to keep the other one motivated. We've been through that as well.
Yeah.
But in our instance, no, not just me, but luckily, should I say like that, when he's feeling really negative, then I'm on a high, and vice versa.
I want to make it clear for people listening to me from New Zealand, South Africa, wherever you are, guys. I was never negative about being in New Zealand.
No, just negative.
I was negative about some of the
Finances.
practices that happened and so forth and so forth. And
yeah, but I think once again it comes back to making sure that you really want to immigrate, and making sure that you know what you're getting yourself into.
That's rather important. I mean, a lot of stuff can happen, and yeah, you suddenly, I want to say, stuck. You're stuck here for a period of time because you can't pack everything up. It's not like a holiday and you and your wife have a fight and now you pack up your stuff and go home. It's not that easy, unfortunately not.
So I think it's very important before you come that you really make sure that this is what you want to do, because when you're here, it's like he says, you can't just pack up. It costs a lot of money to get here, and you probably won't have enough to go back if that's the thing. So make sure that you really want to do this, and make sure that your partner is on board, and say your goodbyes in South Africa, because if you don't do that, it's going to haunt you.
I want to put something out there. There's a time for everything. We had a good time in South Africa until South Africa went bad, and that was a time for that. Our time was there. Then the next thing happened. We moved here. That was our time was to move here. Was there. Whatever will happen in the future, I don't know. I'm positive about the future. Let's be quite frank. I'm very positive about the future. I think there's so many things that can still happen, and there's so many things that I still want to see, still want to do, still want to experience. So
yeah. So I don't know if you're feeling really negative. I don't know. Do something that you really enjoy. Just go out in the bush. Go do whatever you want to do. Just
don't go hunting.
Feel better.
Don't go hunting springbok. There's none.
Yeah. But beware not to drag your family down, because even the kids can feel it, and it makes them feel unsettled if they don't know what's going on and what's going to happen. So I know it's hard work, but just try to work on yourself.
And sometimes your job is the reason why you feel unsettled.
Mostly it's the job.
And I know I'm not supposed to say this. And immigration will probably want to skit me, and all immigration advisors would want to skit me. But if that's such a big problem and you're struggling it's not a good thing to go back just because you had
I'm
a
sorry.
bad experience here. I've known about a few people who had a few bad experiences in a row, one job
Mm.
after the other, and they are still here, and they are loving it. So
Mm.
if the job is really the problem, and you're sure that the job is the problem, and not you with the job is the problem, make a plan. Look for other work.
Yeah.
Get it done. Get yourself out of a toxic
Yeah, you also
situation.
don't want to be here and feel like that all the time.
I
You
know.
want to be
No,
happy.
no, no. I
Yeah.
fully agree.
And we all want you to all be happy.
And
Okay.
and that is why you live. And I think part of the reason why you live is to be happy at the end of the day.
Mm.
And that's my. I can be totally wrong. So there's a Domini who can tell me that I'm wrong. Part of the reason why I'm here is to be happy. Then please do that.
Yeah.
But yep.
And I know this is probably not the right thing to say as well. But if you really feel like you don't fit, like you don't belong,
Mm.
like you don't want to be here, like you want to be back in South Africa, I think it's probably better to do it
Oh, as soon as possible.
sooner than later,
Oh yeah.
because especially if you've got kids, they are starting to now adapt to the new school
Mm.
system,
And to
and
the safety and to everything else.
and the sooner you just get them back to
Mm.
what they were used to, the better. Otherwise, they're really going to struggle back if they have to go back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
The other problem there is people who really want to go back.
Mm,
This is a sad case.
mm,
There's people who came all the way here. I really wants to go back. Point one doesn't have the finances to go back, and point two, they've got nothing to go back to. But for
mm,
one or another reason, they feel they are going to be happier in South Africa. I'm not judging you guys. If you're listening to me, it's you this morning.
mm.
I'm not judging you. I'll never judge you. But I can't understand this.
No, we
It's
don't.
just me. No. That's why I'm
Yeah.
saying I can't understand this.
And
Perhaps somebody
then
else can understand this. You just can't turn around and go back to
Mm.
something who's well, there's nothing there.
And then the other thing is there are people that really want to be here, and they kind of now are in a predicament where they
Mm.
have to go back because of the visa changes and all of that. And I see the posts on Facebook and I can feel how sad they are and
Yeah.
how anxious they are about going back. And that must be the hardest thing in this world.
Now there is, and this is not immigration advice. I'm gonna put it out there for the Tannies who's listening. There is jobs available at corrections that will have you on the right path. Please speak to an immigration advisor regarding that. But there is jobs currently available. I know it's a rigorous interviews and stuff like that, and they want the people to be here for the interview.
Okay.
But that is the right track to go. Point one. I'm not saying everybody should do that. Probably they'll run out of jobs.
You just heard
Yeah.
what that is.
And then we have a position for somebody, even if it's somebody in South Africa, who can work with air cons and electrician at the same time. It's a specific name, so I just forgot the name.
Okay.
Like an aircon electrician type of
Okay.
sparky person. So there is a position available. Probably.
Accredited employer.
Oh yeah, accredited with tokens with everything. So
Yeah.
I've made sure about them. So
All right.
yeah.
And then I think the other thing is leaving your family in South Africa, because I know that is the hardest thing to do. It's probably the reason for the most people going back to South Africa is because of the family. We've got a friend now that has to go back just for his mom. It's really hard to leave your people at home. It doesn't matter how old they are, who they are, it is hard. And that's why I say your goodbyes, proper goodbyes in South Africa,
Yeah.
so that you don't feel like you left anything unsaid before you came. It's not like you're going to get on the plane in the next 2 months
No.
and just go.
And it's not just as
back
easy
and
to
visit
pop into a
them.
plane and go back. So
Yeah, so make sure that you really say goodbye and that you, yes.
and to those still struggling,
Mm.
I've seen this work. I've seen this work. Start referring to New Zealand as home.
Mm.
You got to get your mindset right. You don't need to get the wife, the kids' mindset right. You got to get your mindset right. They will follow. Once you
Yeah.
say this is home, people will start thinking you are home. Your family will think, hey, he's thinking we are home.
Because this is now home.
This is home. And you got to see it as that. if you don't see this as home, and you keep on referring to South Africa as home, it's probably going to be your home one day.
You're never going to get over that hurdle.
You're never going to get over that. And that is that, and that's a mindset, and it's all up here. And she took a while with this, and then one morning she just said, "This is home now." And I can't even remember how long after we've been here, but it wasn't a month or two. It was quite a while that she kept on referring to South Africa's home, South Africa's home, and then I think there was a Briscoe sale or something.
No,
then they feel at home.
Yeah, I don't know. Every day I just got up and I always, from the beginning, from the start, from the moment we set foot in New Zealand, it was the most beautiful country for me. I loved the road I drove to Pack and Save was beautiful. Everywhere I go is just beautiful. So I just made a point of, when I go out, be aware of what's going on around me.
Good morning to everybody. Said good morning, Werner, Heidi. Heidi, I love your picture on your profile. I do believe I know where that is.
Yeah, she says say goodbye like it's your last goodbye.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's very, very important.
Yeah. I think what is also very important is get your parents on board. I know some of them will never be on board. I've got friends that their parents just want nothing to do with them after they immigrated, which is so sad because I see what it's doing to them on this side. But the thing is, that relationship now took a knock. So even if you go back to South Africa, that relationship is never going to be the same again. So just, I don't know, try to get your parents on board with the move.
And that's a difficult one. I'm not going to take the I want to say the word. I'm not going to talk bad about parents now. But parents mostly in the ages of 65 plus, a lot of them has never even left South Africa. A lot of them, it's unthinkable to ever leave South Africa. That's all they know. And it's not a bad thing. So don't get me wrong here.
I don't think it's about leaving South Africa. It's about leaving them.
Yep. Yeah. And that is more what they are against. And they feel you've forsaken them now in their old age and thing. The problem is if you keep living in South Africa until your old age to look after your parents, you're never gonna leave South Africa.
It's a vicious cycle, because then your kids probably won't leave because they're feeling that they have to look after you or whatever. But so just try and get the whole family on board.
Heidi Cooper just says she drove past us on that weekend because the picture down there is of Wakuni's carrot. So Heidi, next time please stop us and say hi. So, yeah.
Okay, what else was there on our list?
Oh, the big thing is just to talk about people. And the other thing that we said we would probably touch is people going back, what they call back home, or back to South Africa. The big problem that we see, and I'm on quite a few pages where there's a lot of people going back. There's really a lot of people going back, but it's more coming out than going back, to be quite frank on that. Sadly enough, the ones going back is rather loud and proud, the fact that they are going back and how bad is everybody else and so forth. If you are going back, guys, think about it. There's still people living here. There's still people wanting to come here. Don't go and tell everybody how bad it is just because you had a bad experience. Not everybody's going to have the same experience. Not everybody's going to have your mindset. The fact that you are going back as a total different mindset than what I have. I am here to stay. My mindset is I am here to stay. I must make, and I'm putting this out there, I must make a good living for myself here, for my family. I must make a good living here because I'm the anchor here. If you're going back, that's the last thing you're thinking about. You're just thinking about, I'm going back home, and that's South Africa. And most of these people haven't got the faintest idea, point one, where they want to stay. I see most of them want to go down to Cape Way. They complain about the price of houses in New Zealand. Have they seen the price of houses in South Africa these days, especially Cape Town side? It's really hectic. And then the other problem is a lot of them look like me, pale males. Work opportunities is not that great in South Africa for you. Sadly enough.
Well, if yeah, I'm not
But
going to say
I'm not
anything.
going to say anything. No, I'm not going
It's
don't want
up
to go
to
negative.
everyone's self.
No.
We can't say anything if we're not in that person's shoes.
But if you go,
Mm.
don't try and
Don't make New Zealand the
justify the
bad guy.
reason why you
Mm.
have to go back.
Mm.
Um, I'm going to put it out there that you probably didn't make it here. It's good. That's your story. Keep it like that. No, no, I'm being quite frank. You should see people attacking other people on Facebook about this and not trying to force down their throat how bad New Zealand is. Well, these people don't see it in their eyes.
Yeah. I just always say, do you know how privileged you are to have gotten the opportunity to come to New Zealand? The people here, the immigration people, the whole New Zealand gave you the opportunity to come here, and don't take it for granted.
Even if they don't like you, they still gave you the opportunity.
They gave you the opportunity, and it's up to you to make it work.
And
yeah,
I want to say something. There's probably a psychologist listening here somewhere that will be able to certify me and say I'm totally wrong this morning. And morning to Andries Graaf as well, has just joined us. When you arrive from South Africa with your South African mindset, because that is how you arrive here, there's so many stuff in your underconscious, I don't know exactly the medical terminology, but there's so many stuff that worries you that you never talk about, that you sometimes don't even realize this worries you. And I want to talk about myself. So I'm not going to say this for anybody else. Talk about myself. The worst thing for me was to go look at the rental house and there was no bloody trelly door.
Okay.
That was, I mean, I just arrived from South Africa, so I know what happens at doors that are that open. There was no burglar bars. And this, in my subconscious mind, this told me, whoa, there's something wrong here. This is not safe. And I think a few of the houses we looked at, and I thought, geez, there's an idiot on the street. This can't work. That was, and this is coming from South Africa. I'm really, and this is me. So I don't know if there's anybody else that, but
probably.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, the first thing is South Africa, if you move from one house to another house, you'll look at the safety. That was probably the most important thing for me ever, is to look at the safety, look at the safety, look at the safety. And now you arrive here, nobody worries even about safety. And then you see your first armed response guard, and he's not even carrying a firearm.
Yeah. So, someone saying, first go for a visit before you decide to go back. Yeah. That is what I think helped me make a more informed decision. That way you are reminded why you left and what you currently have and came here for and can have in the future.
Matthew Mariska just saying subconscious. Thanks, mate. Thanks.
That is very true. But we also always say, don't go back in the first 6 months or a year, because it's still too fresh in your mind.
Give yourself some time to settle in here, point one, and some time to make money. Because it's a nice thing to arrive in Africa with a New Zealand dollar. It's really a nice thing. You feel like a king.
You can go to
walk
the
in
spa
and
with
you
your
pay for
whole
19
family.
people. That's what I did. On a game farm, I paid, it was my birthday that evening, I paid for everybody's drinks, everything. 19 people, it cost me cheaper than what 4 people would cost nothing in New Zealand. So.
Unfortunately, it is all a mind is
it's a mind thing.
It can be a beautiful thing, but it can also be your worst enemy.
Yeah. And the problem is, if I want to say it nicely, if your mind can influence the mind of the people closest to you,
it's a bad thing.
It can, and that's a problem, and it does happen. It does happen. So,
and the other thing is just remember, you came to a different country. You have to do what they want you to do the way that they want you to do it. You can't have your way. It is not South Africa.
Yeah,
it's a new country. They've got different way of working, and that's the way that it is. If you went to Italy, you would have had to do what they would do, how they do it.
I want to just say something about New Zealand and the rest of the world, and I want to include here Australia. I think coming to countries out of South Africa, New Zealand is probably one of the easier ones. Australia also probably one of the easier ones. If you would go to somewhere else where they also talk English as a standard, like Britain or so, or Ireland or so, if you're not used to the weather in Ireland, hey, it's that's hectic. The same with the weather with the English. The weather down there is not at all good for your mind. And if you have to go to anywhere else in the world, let's say you have to go, as you said, to Italy. How are you going to learn Italian?
Yeah.
Well, otherwise you can't talk to the people around you.
And can you imagine the workspace?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Jeez.
Okay. Benedine is saying, if you are in a negative space and keep on talking to your old colleagues and friends and family back in South Africa and tell them about the negativity, they will try and convince you to come back, and that will have an impact on your decision and the reason why you actually came to New Zealand. And that is really true. It is one thing telling people, your friends and your family back in South Africa, that you're kind of struggling to get used to whatever, but you can't complain all the time. If I was in South Africa and my kids came here and one of them phoned me every day and said, I'm not happy, I just can't adjust, whatever, I would also say, come back.
Yeah, it is. I just want to read what Renier Klaassen is saying. He says, get proper support in New Zealand. It's sometimes difficult. He says that makes a huge difference and you have to make the effort. I can probably tell you the story. I've got a client and they lied to their parents about the type of job that they were doing here. Because of what their qualifications was in South Africa,
the parents wouldn't get it.
Parents wouldn't understand why they didn't do that specific job here. But due to their qualifications, they couldn't just walk into the same space here immediately. And they needed money. And she jumped out and she did some of the weirdest jobs out there. Stuff that her family would probably have stoned her for.
Frowned upon.
But they made it work. Yeah. They actually made it work. It was, and today they're doing extremely well. I'm so proud of them for where they went through and where they are now. It's a big thing.
But that is also a character trait.
Yep.
Some people have it, some people don't have it.
And her mindset was, this is home.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it home.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay here. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be the best that I can be here.
Yeah. Renier, you have to make the effort. You have to make the effort.
Yep.
And that is really true. It's not up to other people to make you happy. It's unfortunately something that only you can do. No one can make you happy. That is the way that it is.
So this morning we're going to Auckland, City of Sales.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. It is the Denim and Diamonds Ladies Sundowner event tomorrow
on Friday evening. So,
and I'll
pop in just to say hi to everybody, and then my wife said I should go.
Yeah, I hope we get everything in the car. We've got heaps of stuff to take with us.
Travis is having the most practical solution. He said, if you're going to moan in South Africa, you're going to moan anywhere in the world, and that is so. He says, look ahead and take a brandy. And that will help the nerves a bit.
There we go.
Thanks, Trevor.
It is true. Yeah, some people have got that negative mindset. Doesn't matter where they are, they will never be happy. Unfortunately, that is really true. But if you want to be unhappy, be unhappy. Just don't take the people around you with you. Especially if you have got a support system. That's really trying the best to make it work for you and try their best to support you. And then you still, I don't know, it's hard for the people around you to kind of thing just get with the program.
I want to once again open this kind of worms and say, if you have a problem anywhere in New Zealand, I'm talking anywhere in New Zealand, and you need somebody to talk to.
Talk about.
I think I'll probably talk about their spouses and stuff. If you need somebody to talk to, and you are willing to talk to either of us, we are available for that. Or if you want to talk to somebody in your town, we've got people all over New Zealand that can listen to you. We've got a rather large group of people that
And we
have
also,
bought into this and are willing
yeah.
to help.
And if you don't want to talk to us, if you really want to talk to someone, a counselor
Yeah.
or a psychologist or whatever, get in touch with us. I have a few people that you can actually speak to,
And people that will understand what you're going through.
and you know
It's
what?
quite
It's
important.
really not a bad idea to, when you get to New Zealand and you're really struggling, to go and see someone. There's maybe just something that you have to do. You have to get rid of some
Yeah.
stuff before you kind of can open yourself to new experiences. And that's not a bad thing.
Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody that's not in your household.
Yeah, sometimes you can just want to speak to someone else and moan. Beware, be aware.
Or don't moan, not don't moan, discuss. It's rather important to change from moaning
Yeah.
the whole time to discussing, to saying, I have this and this and this problem. How do I
Yeah.
sort this out?
You can be sure that neither of us are negative people, so we will definitely not go down the drain with you.
No.
If you
You'll struggle to take me down the drain with you, sir.
Yeah, so if you just need some positivity, or maybe you just want to voice what you're feeling, it's not a bad idea to speak to someone.
But here's a massive but. If you are going to speak to somebody, take the most positive person in your group. Don't go to the most negative person.
Don't go to the guy that also wants to go back.
Don't go to that person. That person will take you down the drain, and you both will end up somewhere under a bridge in Johannesburg. So
most people won't judge you for whatever you tell them or whatever your decision is, even if it's the worst decision ever. But just speak to someone. Here, klankbord.
Yeah.
That's
and I sometimes do this with business owners.
Yeah, I know you do.
And they sit down and they just run their business through me. Sometimes I don't have the faintest idea what this guy is talking about.
Because they've got the same.
Yeah, and I do the same. They've got a business idea that I cannot implement or steal or whatever. I don't steal business ideas. But them running the stuff through me, the fact that he's talking about this. And I've seen the light go on in people's eyes while they were talking, and I knew you now had the answer.
Yeah.
And the next thing they said, but I think they must do this. I said, you've got the answer. There you go.
Yeah.
It's as easy as that.
Yeah. And I know you do the same. Sometimes you speak to someone and you get
a
better idea of how to do stuff. So, yes, I'm just trying to stay positive. You've got so much going for you here. I know maybe you're struggling financially and you're struggling with the support system, and maybe you don't have a job yet. There can be so many factors that can influence how you're feeling.
The one thing I found this past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that a lot of people are struggling with is guys over 40 or people over 40 cannot understand how they can retire one day.
I get it.
And I promise you, I've been there.
Yeah. We came when we were way over 40.
Yeah, I was 48 when I arrived.
Yeah.
And we ended up with, after the year we had to stay in South Africa and go from guest house to guest house waiting for immigration, that really hit the savings real hard. So at the end of the day, we are here. We are still here. I do have a plan for myself. I make plans for people, and I help people to realize they can, at the end of the day, they can go on pension, even if it's not at 65. Probably I have to work until 67 before I can get the government subsidy, which is $2,200, I think, these days, if I'm right.
I've got no idea how much it is, but
that's she in finances. So I've got the faintest idea what's going on. So as long as there's money in my bank account.
As long as I can buy food, I'm happy. So, okay, let's try to be positive.
Yeah, let's go today and see positive. I think if you want to do something today, it's Thursday and Friday, go out and see how positive you can be. People may think you are losing it a bit, but think how positive you can be. Today's a beautiful day out there. I've just looked outside. I've been outside this morning. It's not bad. So
and if you really want to speak to someone and just be friendly with someone, go to Pack and Save and just speak to the cashier. They are so nice. And I don't know, I feel like they want to talk.
And don't be held back by what their nationality is. I mean, we had intense discussions with vegetarian
cashews and
That one was Indian.
and
I was so tired of eating curry.
Yeah.
It was the first time in my life I've ever heard about something.
But there are nice people to just be friendly to. Give a smile, receive a smile, it makes your day. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't spend too much money. So.
Buy a chocolate. That's also good for your mental health.
All right, guys. Until next week, same time, same place.
Bye.
Bye.